Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, Gamer K, and we are finally in the month of April, ladies and gentlemen. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a good while, but I've been wanting to wait until a certain moment to do it. And it's the last of my videos of this for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel videos, because, like I stated in my previous video, no way in hell am I doing a 13 video for 7s and Go Rush, when the duels are so freaking short and some of them are just comically good, and it just makes you not want to watch them or review them. But we are talking about the last good Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, number 6, where we link into cyberspace with Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. Okay, full disclosure, just like with Zexal and Arc 5, I had very low expectations for the series of the show, for the season. Because coming out with the new link cards, that was a bit of an adjustment. Again, like when the XCs came out and the pendulums came out and all that stuff. But good God, dude, they went hard with this series. An actual interesting protagonist that is serious and can duel without needing to learn the steps as they go through. Yuma. But overall, this is definitely the... Okay, if you exclude Series 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh!, this is the darkest Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever been. And not in a way that they change it up a little bit to make it feel like it's threatening for children. No, this is actually threatening, because for a good couple of reasons. For one, when some of the characters disappear, they do not come back. Although that's not true. They do come back afterwards, but certain characters don't. There's no Shadow Realm to save someone's soul. This is all technology-based and deleted. Let's see, what else do we have in this? Let me go through the list. There's child kidnapping, child experimentation, and even a little murder. I am not kidding. Every single one of those quick things I said happens in Vrains. Child kidnapping, experimentation, and we even have murder. Not someone getting hurt and their soul needs to be saved or anything, or they're in a coma. Legitimate murder in Yu-Gi-Oh! For Christ's sake. And I shouldn't love that as much as I do, but I do, because it made the series have stakes. Like, it made every interaction, every duel feel like something was on the line, and not like in previous seasons where someone's soul can be saved or they can be brought back later on by magical bullshit. But there's stakes, there's actual risk and danger. And that's why Vrains, I'm happy to go out on a high note with Vrains. Every duel had its own bits of humor, bits of intrigue, bits of actual fun, and, like I said, stakes to the game. It's not like, oh, if you lose, you don't get into a tournament. No. If I'm remembering correctly, this is the only Yu-Gi-Oh! Series without a goddamn tournament arc. Like, it's no bullshit. No filler episodes where there's some stupid character that gets added on and we get a cool duel with them. Every single duel in Vrains has stakes, has story relevance, has absolute mind-blowing amazingness. I know I'm not using a lot of good words, but it just... And narrowing this list down to 13 was super difficult, except for my top 3 battles. My top 3 fights in this series are without a doubt some of the best in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. So enough of my babbling, ladies and gentlemen. Grab your decks, link into the program, and let's go through the top 13 best duels of Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. And why top 13? Because only the odd can be number one here at the Game Hub. And also, if anyone's ever hadn't noticed yet, I have a new profile picture. I have a new character using the Grave Robber as my mascot now. Big shout out to a friend of mine, Ignited Light Productions. I don't think she calls it Productions, but go follow her on Instagram. Really cool artist, really, really unique. And I'm glad I asked her to do this artwork for me. I love it. And with that in mind, let's get on to the video. Number 13 is a very Season 1 duel. Playmaker versus Vrains Battle 1. Now, I know it's not as cool as his Japanese name, Revolver, because all of his monsters are basically pistol dragons that look like they can shot out of a gun. But Vrains, like, it sounds like such a cool name. And I'm glad they didn't do anything stupid. Like, when 4 kids called Smoker Tracker. I know, it's stupid. Oh, also, a couple of these duels are going to be the unique speed duels that they do, which for speed duels that have been pretty common nowadays. Basically, instead of 5 monster zones, it's 3 spell zones, and you get to use your own special skill that you have during the duel when certain criteria are met. There's actually only one speed duel being done in this list because I don't really care. I mean, they're good, they're fun, but I prefer the traditional master duels. So, Vrains versus Playmaker round 1. This was an early fight in Season 1, episode 12 through 13, and it was such a good battle. Really, really unique. And again, it kind of showcases the struggle between the Knights of Hanoi and versus Playmaker and I, being the AI program that's stuck in his dual disk. And once again, I do like Yusaku Playmaker as a character. He's serious, he's very nonchalant about shit, and when it comes to strategizing, this guy could walk circles around. Okay, anyone can walk circles around Jaden and Yuma and Yuya, but to run circles around Yugi and Yusei, you need to be extra smart. And this guy can definitely do it. And in terms of the rivals, Vrains is up there with being one of the best rivals in Yu-Gi-Oh history. And to be introduced so early was really done very well. Love his design, love his mask, I love his personality. I love the connection between these two and their story. The duel itself goes really, really well, with Vrains obviously kind of one-upping Playmaker all the time, and then releasing what we thought was his boss monster because of the opening, Cracking Dragon. But to be fair, Cracking Dragon was used like earlier on the duel in the series, so obviously it wouldn't be the boss monster. And then he releases one of the better, most badass boss monsters, Topologic Bomber Dragon, near the end of the fight, where if a monster is summoned next to its link, basically the arrows on the card and direction they point to, he destroys every monster in the main monster zone. And Vrains uses that to his advantage super, super well in the late of the game. During the final bit of the duel, when he's under 1,000 life points, Playmaker can access the Data Storm and pull out a new link monster. Yeah, I get that. I get that it's kind of like adding a new card into your deck mid-game, but it's for the anime, and it works. However, before he's able to use it, Vrains pulls, what's the term? Pulls a trump card by activating a trap that resummons a monster from Playmaker's graveyard, which he picks Capacitor Scorpion, and summons it right next to Topologic's link, destroying all the main monsters in the main monster zone. And when Capacitor Scorpion is destroyed, both players take damage. So before Playmaker can get out his new monster, Vrains calls an audible and wipes out both of their life points. So the first So for the first time in Yu-Gi-Oh history, and I'm not counting the first one with Declan and Yugioh because that was technically a non-finish because he left, because the pendulum monsters weren't working. In the first time in Yu-Gi-Oh history, between the main hero and his rival, the battle ends in a draw. Which I freaking love. I love it to death. It's one of the better first fights in Yu-Gi-Oh history, because it doesn't end on a BS draw that one of them outbeats the other in one way. Varus outplays Playmaker by giving up his own life points to win, to have it be a draw so Playmaker couldn't beat him. That's actually pretty ingenious, and we're just starting out, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, one of the first fights of the final season. It's a quick one. It's an easy one, but it just showcases how intelligent an idiot character can be. I'm talking about Ai versus Queen, where she gets a whole bunch of combo Queen monsters out and before Ai's first turn. And Ai bringing out one of my favorite archetypes that I actually have the deck for, the Ignis, which are homages to his fallen Ignis comrades, and to summon out monsters that have each attribute of his fallen allies. We've got light, wind, dark, representing Ai, earth, water, and fire, and they are all unique styles, and Ai does something really, really good, and I love the strategy of the Ignis. And he gets out Fire Pegasus, Wind Pegasus, Light Dragon, and Dark Templar out on the board, uses their abilities to wipe Queen's field. But this is a moment where she thinks because she rules all and she can do whatever the hell she wants. Where she activates her skill, which allows her to gain back the life points she just lost and to add any card from her collection and set it face down. And yeah, that's kind of cheating. You can't add... Okay, yeah, I just said it. Playmaker does it all the time, but that's within the rules. He's adding a new card when he's low on life points, not gaining them all back and get to play a card anywhere in his collection. Not the deck that's being used, but a card anywhere. So she puts Drowning Mirror Force where the monster attacks. All monsters are sent back to the deck. But after knowing this, Ai uses the effect of Lingaribo. Yeah, this cute little shit. During the battle phase, when an opponent activates a trap card, send them to the graveyard and banish the trap card and negate it. In which Light Dragon and Dark Templar finish Queen off in basically one frickin' turn. This woman has been a pain in the ass all series long. Only dueled once, and it proved that, yeah, you can change the rules however you want, but it doesn't really matter when you get your ass handed to you in a one-round move. Ugh. Again, Ai, great character. His human form's a little weird, and it definitely makes me wonder what the other Ignis would have looked like with human forms, but I digress. Here we have another Season 1, near the end of Season 1 fight, the Gore versus Varus. Gore being a very strong-looking character, obviously using strength-based monsters in the Goki series. Monsters with 0 attack points and focus on getting multiple guys out there on the field, getting rid of them for the Link summons, and the Link monster basically subtracting attack points by the defense points of said monster. But since Gokis have no defense points, this card doesn't really affect them. And going up against Varus, again challenging Varus for the fate of Vrains. It's definitely a ballsy move. And I love how there's, like, everyone in the show is competent. Yeah. I love how everyone in Vrains is a competent duelist, with a few exceptions of this one laughing character, a joke character. And I love how every character in Vrains is a capable duelist. No one's still learning the rules. No one's a bullshitter. No one thinks they're great, and they're not. Everyone's capable. And to have Gore go up against Varys, main villain of Season 1, and numero uno head honcho rival, I love it when a battle like this isn't super one-sided, where they go back and forth a little bit, and I love it. Gore brings out some of his strongest monsters for an onslaught, and then brings out Mirror Force. Like, it's some great, amazing strategy. And then whoops the floor with Gore a couple turns later. This is a good battle because, again, it's a battle between main villain / rival and another side, not a side character per se, but a good character that has a lot of good moments in the series. Except Season 2 when he becomes an absolute dick. And looks like he went on an extreme weight loss program. Don't really care for that. But overall, again, it's a great battle. It deserves to be on the bottom of the list because it's so great. Man. Didn't think I'd put a season final fight this bottom on the list. There, Playmaker versus Bowman, round 4. Bowman was basically an artificial intelligence program created by the Ignis of Season 2 in order to be to save Link Vrains from everything. But it doesn't turn out that way. He's battled Playmaker a good number of times in the fight using the Hydra Drive archetype. Basically, low-level monsters that create better Link versions with attributic qualities and using attributes as his main motif. Traps like Property Spray. And all of his monsters are by far really, really cool design. From Coolant Hydra Drive, Burn Hydra Drive, Blow Hydra Drive, I believe. And he absorbs the data of the Ignis that have fallen and use them in his deck, which allows him to break out in the final his big badass boss monster, which is getting released later this year. Hopefully the rest of the Hydra Drives will, and we won't have to wait years to get more cards from the anime. I'm still waiting on the armor deck. Me and E are still waiting. But this badass monster, having a super broken anime ability, obviously because it's the final season, the season finale of that battle, which then results in Playmaker using the most busted maneuvers ever of Link summoning again and again. Point is, he goes for so many Link summons and special summons during this turn that it's ridiculous. And then it all retaliates of him summoning the final ace monster, Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid, which is really, really cool design. And it was Link summoned. It gets a counter equal to the number of Cyberse in his graveyard that have a different type. So Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz. And since he has 4 of them in his graveyard, that's 4 counters. And Dark Fluid gains 2,500 attack points for each one. Right? Yep, each counter. And with when he attacks Hydra Drive, Judgment Arrows doubles the attack points to 8,000. I'm going off of the play-by-play because it's difficult to remember. And Perfectron reduces battle damage by 0 by removing a counter, which also lowers its attack points and prevents it from being destroyed. And Dark Fluid can activate the effect again. By removing a counter, negates the effect and allows Dark Fluid to attack again. So at this point, they go back and forth with Dark Fluid attacking with a superior attack point power to Perfectron preventing the damage and removing a counter. Then the cycle continues, Dark Fluid removing a counter in order to attack until Hydra Drive has 0 left and is weak and left to being destroyed. God, that was a lot. This battle, even though it's a final one, the whole thing with Bowman, it just feels kind of low, like kind of lacking a little bit. I mean, we all knew their Playmaker was gonna win because it's the final of the season. So yeah, we kind of figured he was gonna win, but how he won is amazing. But it's just the thing with Bowman feels less stakes, less high stakes. Especially since he's not evil in the sense as the other characters are evil. So there's that. Anyway, good fight nonetheless, but there are still more that rank higher. A final season battle that is something it's a battle that's good. It's really, really creative. But it's one I don't really care for that much. Soul Burner versus Vrains. Considering a previous duel between these two was kind of dropped really quickly for a reason I can't remember. Again, I only watched Vrains once, unlike the other series I've watched multiple times. But it's a good battle because Vrains brings up a scenery that is reminiscent of the facility where they were locked in. Yeah. It's a good fight, and the banter between both of them is good between each turn and between all their strategies. I like that we don't get the traditional main character versus his rival again near the end before the final battle. I like that we don't get it because, actually, now that I think about it, after season 1, Vrains and Playmaker never battle again, and I'm happy about that because they got everything squared off in season 1. This battle definitely kind of gives a bit more to Soul Burner and Vrains', not relationship, being friends, but more being allies more than friends. It's a great battle, really great fight. Did not go the way I thought it would. I thought it was going to be the same thing of Joey versus Kaiba, where Joey obviously loses. But it gives a lot of in-depth between the history between the two characters for the story. And it's done really well. We got a battle against the colloquial female character of the show, who, again, actually can duel. And isn't just that trope of the female character that has a couple battles but then is used as a gimmick and constantly loses within the next couple seasons. Glad they got rid of that. Blue Angel versus Spectre. Spectre being one of my favorite characters from Vrains for obvious reasons. Duel starts off with Blue Angel using her Trickstar deck and Spectre using his Sun Avalon deck, which are a plant-based monsters that, seriously, I'm mad that only like one of these cards or two of them are actually printed. If they ever do an Anime Chronicle deck again, I would so love to have more cards from Vrains be added to it. And he kind of taunts Blue Angel by saying the book that she inspired her avatar on was based on a book from a character from a book her brother read to her, where Spectre says he'll be the villain. And despite his calm nature and his love of plants, showcasing that backstory of his, where he was also one of the children of the Lost incident, which 6 children were kidnapped and experimented on in order to create the 6th AI Ignis. And for those of you, oh right, I didn't even talk about that. So Playmaker, Spectre, Soulburner, two unnamed characters, or one's name, and I just don't know because they don't really appear ever. And the brother of the guy who is helping Playmaker throughout the series, who has a fascination that hot dogs are not a sandwich. Anyway, they were all experimented on, and Varys' father was the one responsible. Told you it got dark. But anyway, this duel, again, doesn't go the way I usually think it is. I'm thinking, oh, they're going to give a good fight, but the main hero is going to win. And, no, Spectre does a lot of great maneuvers with his deck and counters a bunch of her Blue Angel strategies, and defeats her, and then she gets deleted for a bit. God damn it, this show can get dark. I love this duel because it's a good mid to the end of the first season battle where all the heroes are fighting off against the villains. And then overall, it's a good fight, but there are just, again, more better ones later. Number 7 on the list, Playmaker versus Varys, round 2. Our first master duel, which is basically a classic Yu-Gi-Oh battle. 5 monster zones, 5 spell and trap card zones. And again, it's done right after the fight of their first speed duel together, of Playmaker versus Vrains, the one I talked about at the bottom of the list. Doing the master duels and setting up a field spell, Fire Prison, where all dragon monsters gain more attack and defense points, and also nobody can link summon monsters Okay, I got Fire Prison stats. If any link monsters are on the field, neither player can link summon a link monster with a lower link rating than the highest link rating on the field. Monsters cannot attack except link monsters. Apply the following effects while 2 or more of Cyberse link monsters are on the field. Negate the activated effects of Cyberse monsters. Cyberse monsters cannot attack, cannot be targeted for attacks, and cannot be targeted by card effects. So basically it's a deck that basically says, you, Playmaker, and all of your monsters. God damn, they made a card like this? But luckily, Playmaker's able to destroy it later on. But seeing Varys play extensively with his amazing cards, using the Borolo, his ace monster, Borolo. You know what? The audio is shit, so I'm just going to mute it. Just watch. Right? This thing is a gun dragon. Even when it attacks, it lowers its wings, opens the cannon in its mouth, its cylinders spin, and it releases a powerful blast. This thing, it tops almost any of the rivals' ace monsters. Blue Eyes, gone. Armed Dragon level 10, gone. Red Dragon Archfiend, Red Nova, gone. Galaxy Eyes, gone. all the triple D monsters that Declan had, gone. This thing is badass to the core. And so are all of its future counterparts. Boral Guard, Boral Sword, and the Topologic. It's just badass. And all hope seems lost until Playmaker reveals there's 3 ways why he'll win. And this brings up a plot point of Varys being the child of the scientist that did the Lost incident. And he talked with Playmaker when he was a child and said that he should stick to the rule of 3 of why things should happen. Having this connection be so good. I mean, they could have easily made Varys be a guy whose sibling was abused by the Lost incident and wanted revenge. But no, he's the son of the father of the guy who was responsible for it. That makes it even better. And just when all hope is lost, he summons the monster that he got at the last duel, and clip again of Firewall Dragon.
Link 4, Firewall Dragon!
Because one way or another, every Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist needs to have 3 things. 1, really amazing spiky hair, except for Jaden, he's the exception. To be absolutely goddamn clueless when women like him. Seriously, 6 of them. Although actually, now that I think about it, Playmaker isn't really liked by anyone, so that's cut. And third and foremost, a ace monster with 2,500 attack points. Seriously, it's the thing. And to have a awesome rival who also looks better than he does. Summoning Firewall Dragon and getting the win. And knocking his life points down to by 4,000 points immediately. And we get this scene of how Varys loses. Like being thrusted into a digital rock and breathing an impact that looks like whenever Yamcha gets punched once. It was a great battle. Having this be their second duel, be something that wasn't at the end of the series or the season, but have it be something so awesome that made them both look up their strategies a little bit differently. And it's just done so freaking well. Now we get into a duel from season 2 with technically the main villain of the season. And I love this character. I love how intelligent he is, how calm he is, how poised. So I'm just going to say this outright. All the 6 Ignis of attributes, all of their all their cards are direct represented by their element. For example, well, except for Ai, because he has a collective with the Adignisters. So to be specific, Aqua has the Marincess deck. Flame works with Soulburner with the Salamangreat deck. Earth has the G-Golems. Future character Windy has the Storm Rider decks. And here we are with one of my favorites, and one of my favorite duels, his starting duel, Lightning versus Spectre. Lightning using the Armatos Legio deck, which is and they're all Cyberse monsters with their attribute. And thinking light attribute, I never would have thought of this. Stone statues of Roman warriors, and all the Link monsters are actual flesh warriors, while the regular monsters are all statues. Seeing how Lightning kind of views people. Statues that are to be used later on, and then used as warriors to fight for him. As he uses Jin, who's the brother of Playmaker's friend, that he's keeping his data and his basic life hostage and used as his own puppet. Lightning as battling Spectre is a great, one of my favorite duels in the season, series in general, because it's freaking number 6. Lightning has this so calm demeanor and how he talks to people. Like he's kind of that one jackass who nonchalantly insults you, but he's speaking very calmly and very intelligently. And Spectre gets the run-in on this guy, even stealing their ace card, Judgment Arrows, which is a link spell, which gives double the attack points to all the monsters that are linked to the points on it. And Lightning basically kind of losing a little bit. Oh, also Spectre manages to do a complete link, which is links from the 2 extra monster zones to the 5 slots on the board. And that's hard. That's freaking hard to do. I think it's only done 3 times in the entirety of the series, and that's what makes it really, really special, and to be done in this battle. So when it seems like Lightning is losing, I love the banter between Spectre and Lightning. Lightning basically saying that he's never fought a human before, so some maybe even greater than him. And Spectre drops this.
Then please allow me to judge you by the same criteria. You said that you prefer to defeat the weakest duelists first. So isn't it logical to assume that it's because you lack the skills to defeat the best duelists? No, that is not logical to assume. Do not think you're better than me. The Ignis are inferior to no human. Now calm down. We're only having a delightful conversation, my friend. I am calm, and I am not your friend.
It just showcases that all of the Ignis have their own personalities, and Lightning has something I think of as he hates humans. He dislikes them immensely, but in every act he does, he shows to be that he's the most human of all the Ignis. I'll explain that later in my list. But he does a combo so crazy that it destroys Spectre's whole strategy game plan right immediately, gets Judgment Arrows back, and summons his boss monster, which is a giant warlord on top of an elephant. Okay, who called Hannibal? And just immediately destroys his entire game board and eliminates him so quickly. It's such a great battle because Spectre utilizes what he's learned from fighting against Playmaker and Blue Angel, and utilizes what he saw of the Ignis dueling already and implements it in a strategy. Not knowing that Lightning has thought 13 steps ahead and let Spectre think he had the upper hand. Because there's no greater thing of a villain, of being a smart villain, and allowing your arch enemy to think they have the upper hand. That's what I like about certain characters. The intelligence of letting your opponent winning when you know you're pulling the strings the entire goddamn time. So, yeah, I love the duel. I love the characters. I just need the Armatos deck. I need it to be real. Konami, I know you don't like people telling you what we want, but please, this duel is the goddamn moment I realized Vrains wasn't playing kid games anymore. Season 2's Varus versus Windy. Windy being another favorite of mine, and he's the only Ignis other than... No. Yeah, he's the second one to not have a humanoid partner. He just uses one of the AI creations that he uses. And he talks really, really fast. He's very annoying. He's very energetic, but talks super fast. And I love that. And also in this deck, Varus uses cards of Magic Cylinder. Again, utilizing old cards in his strategy, which I love. Windy utilizing the really, really sick Storm Rider series, which are basically wind attribute Cyberse that look like battleships that are based on flying mythical creatures, like Harpy, a Bahamut, a Rockbuster, I don't know what that is. Utilizing a field spell in order to give extra attack points, and being a card that basically requires no spell and trap cards in the spells and trap zone outside. So all of his cards are one and done spells, but he uses that advantage of stealing the opponent's spells and traps and utilizing them against the opponent, which I love. And then in this battle, we get the amazing Borreload Synchro Monster, Borreload Savage Dragon later on, which is Borreload Dragon, but on steroids, and I love it. And this battle, I said, where the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Changes permanently for me. It's what Vrains discovers as the fight goes on, while Playmaker and I are imprisoned, and while Lightning is watching the battle. Vrains drops a big bombshell. Because he did, after the first season happened, Vrains decided to do a little extra digging on some information. And it's very I had no freaking clue what he discovered. Maybe something else happened, maybe someone else was involved, but no, it's the aftermath of the Lost incident. When Vrains was talking about how I is Playmaker's Ignis creation AI, it would stem to reason that the 6 Ignis all came from the 6 children that went missing. And that is true because Spectre being the Earth plant type user, he's Earth's connection. Flame is Soul Burners. June's is Lightning's. Similar thing. But the one thing that was kind of confusing is that Windy didn't have a partner. He was using an AI stand-in. And that's when Windy basically said he doesn't have a partner. He doesn't have a human counterpart, which doesn't make sense because he has to. And that's when Vrains drops the biggest one of the biggest bombshells in Yu-Gi-Oh! History, guys. If you have, okay, obviously I'm talking about the duel, so if you obviously figure out, there's some spoiler warnings. Vrains says that of the 6 children, he did a little background on all the children involved in the Lost incident, and 5 of them are doing well. The 6th one isn't among them anymore after being killed in a car accident. And then it's shown it was due to a faulty AI. To which Windy, after this reveal, Windy just says, right, an accident. The way he just nonchalantly admits to murder. And I know what you guys are all thinking. Oh no, that was just in the subbed, in the original, where in the original the kid was hospitalized or something. No, it's 100% acknowledged that in the English dub of this, the 6th kid is dead. Dead as a doornail. No coma, no accident that left him paralyzed. Actual dead. In Yu-Gi-Oh! And why did Windy do this? Because he didn't want a partner. Partners are a pain. They tell you not to do this, don't do that, don't do this. He never even met this person had nothing to do with the Vrains, had nothing to do with Link Vrains, had nothing to do with the Hanoi, nothing to do with anything. Windy just killed his human counterpart because he didn't want a partner. Only reason. that is so messed up, but it makes sense because him and Lightning think themselves as superior beings. So they don't. Lightning is using June as a countermeasure, as a safeguard, but Windy just wanted to be alone. I had to double take and watch that multiple times to see if I was watching what I was watching. And thank God nothing online ruined it for me before I watched it. Oh my God. Battle that is definitely something I did not see coming in the series. Soulburner versus Robopi. Basically that annoying little robot thing that I was being a companion with for seasons 1 and 2. He built it up with an AI and creates this little shit, who's a child kind of looking character with his appliancer archetype, which are basically electronic appliances that have the benefit of being co-linked to each other and gaining abilities, but if they're not co-linked, they gain other abilities. Really playing with the opponent of thinking if they unlink those monsters, it's going to be a breeze. And for their childlike look of Propel Lion, Vacuolifant, Laundry Dragon, their abilities are damn right terrifying. And I have the deck, so I know. But at the same time, I wish there were more support for it because it's lacking in a lot of spells and traps and everything. So, yeah. The battle itself comes near the end of Season 3, where Robopi has a vision of him beating humanity, which I finds very weird because he didn't program that in Robopi. So Robopi was learning on his own. And after battling Soulburner and having a good time, Robopi starts to kind of glitch out and have these mood swings and anger and hatred. And it's something I didn't see coming. And it just showcases in the battle, and it's a really, really amazing battle as well. Having the Salamangreats go up against the Appliancers, very awesome fight. At the same time, though, the battle goes exactly the way you think it is at the end. Robopi kind of glitches out and everything, and Soulburner takes the opportunity and defeats him, destroying yet another friend of Ai's, and after Season 2, when all the other Ignis are defeated, Ai kind of goes rogue and decides to declare war on humanity.
Of course.
Had to do it. Season 1 finale, Playmaker versus Vrains, round 4. This is the battle that cinched how amazing Vrains was going to become. You know what? Once I finish Entourage and Airbender, I am going to rewatch Vrains because I miss it now. I miss these amazing fights after talking about them. The final battle between Varys and Playmaker for the future of Sailing Link Vrains and everyone who's been kind of deleted. And for the first time, we get a complete link circuit where Varys builds all of his ace monsters, and it's just done so beautifully. It's done so beautifully. Whereas Playmaker has done the exact same thing. Build up a bunch of his cards to build up strong power. I know I'm going kind of dull in the details in this one because it's just perfect. It's something that needs to be experienced by any Yugioh fan. If you decided not to watch Vrains, you missed out on a bunch of amazing fights. And the way Playmaker wins this back and forth, countering each other, getting the upper hand, and then losing it at the same time, with Varys having Borolo Dragon being his ace on the battlefield. Playmaker uses a spell card. I can't remember the name of it. Let me look. 0 extra link. While he has Firewall Dragon and Transcode Talker on the field. Zero extra link gives 800 attack points to a monster for every extra linked monster on the field. And there are 8 of them. So he skyrockets to 9,200 attack points. Thinking Vrains uses a trap card Link Short to negate the effects of all Playmaker's co-linked monsters and preventing all of them from attacking. Playmaker sensed this, so he uses his final monsters to summon his ace monster. Firewall Dragon may be the canon 2,500 attack point monster, but Decode Talker is his ace, which activates 0 extra links effect. As a link monster is link summoned using the equipped... Hey, I'm not the first YouTuber to frickin' use information mid-video, so get off my back. I thought I got rid of you. Nope, it's a continuous spell. Yeah, if a link monster is link summoned using the targeted monster as material, that monster gains the same attack increase that the targeted monster had. So, by doing so, Decode Talker gains the attack points, bringing him up to 9,200. Nope. 9,200, same. Then Decode Talker attacks Borreload Dragon, and the battle is won. Using Vrains' own strategy against him, having all those monsters co-linked, only helped Playmaker out, which was amazing. And to have it, again, be Decode Talker and not Firewall Dragon to finish the job. This is why I love Vrains and Playmaker as rivals. It's not like they get new cards and then they one-up each other turn by once in a while, or they have a perfect strategy right from the get-go. Every time something doesn't work, they build off each other, and they've learned from each other throughout the battles and everything that they've done, which is something very, very rare in a Yu-Gi-Oh battle, in the anime, where characters change their decks and strategies and think of what they could possibly do to counteract. And that's where Vrains and Playmaker have very, very strong, genius strategic mindsets when it comes to the series and the game. And I love that. And now we're on to number 2. And this one is... Oh, God! Anything I thought that was going to go with this battle goes right out the goddamn window. Vrains versus Lightning. I love that Lightning is the main villain of Season 2. Fuck you, Bowman. I don't really like you. But he only duels twice. And not once does he vow Playmaker. Not once. He battles Spectre and Vrains. And I love that, because I'm sick and tired of the trope of the main villain battling the main hero all the time. I mean, yeah, he is the main villain, but then Bowman takes over and becomes kind of replacement villain, and I dislike it immensely, because the battle goes so well, very back and forth. Armatos versus the auto rockets and the Borreload monsters. And again, 2 things I really love in a Yu-Gi-Oh battle: when there's lore being dropped and revelations being dropped, and when something unexpected happens. For one, Vrains had the opportunity to defeat Lightning, but then Lightning brought Jin to his senses and used him as a human shield. So if he defeats him, he deletes the brother of Playmaker's friend that they've been trying to save him. He uses him as a shield. So Varys decides not to attack, and that gives Lightning the opportunity he needs to make somewhat of a comeback. Basically, Lightning puts Jyn and Spectre's data within himself, so if he's defeated, they both go. Basically blackmailing Varys into not attacking, which he doesn't. Bowman, however, I'm saying these events in an opposite order just because this is about the duel right now. Bowman, spectating, witnesses Lightning's underhanded manipulative tactics and disapproves, saying that he also had Windy, who was absorbed by flame, to interfere with Bowman and Soulburner's duel, which resulted in Soulburner not being able to battle well, which caused Bowman to win. And Bowman, just by this look alone, shows his disgust towards Lightning claiming to be higher up the food chain of humans, but chooses to be one with dirty cheating. So Bowman extracts Spectre and June's DNA or data and holds it until the end of the duel, making Lightning fight fairly. Even though he's an AI construction, he sees the importance of winning honorably, improving yourself. And going back to the duel earlier, Lightning and Varys have a little banter where Spectre, in their duel, Spectre noticed the little sense of insecurity that Lightning had about himself when it came to humans and Ignis. So Varys went back and found some information about his father. When the AI were created, the good doctor ran numerous hypothetical scenarios in which could the sixth Ignis coexist with humanity. And Lightning, again being the smartest Ignis, ran its calculations around the same. So here's what confused me a little bit. Lightning's whole thing, if the Ignis could coexist with humans, proved that they could not. Varys' father's information was if the humans could coexist with the Ignis, and it said that it could not. I know the way I'm wording that is weird, but that's how it's worded in the show. But let me get there. So if both of them say that it can't happen, what's the big issue? How they ran their simulations was the difference. The light Ignis, when running its simulations, put the Ignis as a group, saying that humanity could not exist with the Ignis, which is true. But the good doctor ran a simulation of could humanity exist with the Ignis as individuals, and that is where it went. It said that they could exist with the Ignis, except for one flaw. Of the 6 Ignis, humanity could exist with 5 of them. But if you add the 6th Ignis into the mix, it crumbles because it infects the other Ignis, which the secret reveals it was the light Ignis, that's the blight. Because of its self-centered nature and its sociopathic tendencies, Lightning is basically the cause of all the conflict. And knowing that, he corrupted Windy and changed his personality to join him. So all of this conflict, all of this is just so Lightning couldn't accept the fact that he's a curse. He's an absolute virus to the others. And not wanting to accept that because proclaiming he's the superior being. And then as the battle is about to end, Lightning uses a card effect to destroy his ace monster and to inflict 3,000 damage to both of them. So, pulling one of Varys' moves from the start of the series in, they both lose. Not quite. After Varys vanishes after losing, Lightning is shown to be weak but surviving. He reconfigured some of June's data into a single life point to survive. So once again, he cheated. And Bowman showcases that he's cheated yet again. And Lightning said because he'll do anything to survive. And that right there showcases why Lightning is just like the humans that he hates so much. He lies, he manipulates, because he didn't want that his existence is nothing but a fluke, but nothing but a burden. And he blackmails Varys into not attacking by using his comrades and June as a shield. He transfers his energy into a life point in order to survive, because that's what humans will do. It just proves that Lightning is more human, because humans will do anything to survive. And then he's absorbed into Bowman, and then we get the awful BS final battle. God, that one took a lot out of me. But now we're on to the final one. You guys, Yu-Gi-Oh fans probably know what it is. Ai versus Playmaker. The final battle is the best of Vrains. After all of this, we have Playmaker's amazing style and Code Talker cards against Ignis, tribute to his fallen allies. Blow for blow, they go back and forth, until and this battle is so iconic that they even made a card for it for the Ignis series, which I love. Ai gets all 6 Ignis cards, which are 2 Link monsters, 1 Fusion, 1 Ritual, 1 Synchro, 1 Xyz, and merges them together for a Link 6. The Arrival at Ignis. It has a different ability in its actual card form, but it basically gains 1,000 attack points per monster used for it to summon it. And then we go back to Playmaker using all 6 of his Code Talkers, creating a final boss monster, final attack. I mean, I know went quick with the final one, but it's just a great final battle because it's the only time since the original Yu-Gi-Oh where 2 best friends who have been together from the start, Ai and Playmaker, Yugi and Atem, fighting it out, not for the fate of the Pharaoh's life, but for the fate of everyone. And then it's revealed that Ai basically ran a simulation that his existence would cause a problem, so he did all this so Playmaker could finally defeat him. I mean, we all knew what was going to happen in the end. It's a final, but it's definitely one of the best battles in Vrains. From utilizing all their strategies to coming up with new ones in order to try to break through and win. It's definitely a battle that is overlooked. And yeah, basically after I'm done watching my shows, I'm going to go back and rewatch Vrains because I need to rewatch this amazingness now. And all these reasons are why Playmaker vs. Ai is the #1 battle for Vrains. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my final Yu-Gi-Oh! Battles top 13 Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm tired now. Now, join me next week where it's kind of a pre-recorded video of me and E as we come back and we go through a hell of a video and we kind of prove why someone just should have stayed gone. This is Gamer K, logging out.